He said, you can do what you want to do, but will you? You can, but will you? So if you want to run a marathon, if you want to climb a mountain, if you want to write a song, if you want to start a nonprofit, you can do that. You can do that. But the question is, will you do it? Back on the podcast once again. Welcome back to the Around the South Side podcast. I'm Terry Wagoner. I'm your host, and thank you for joining us for all things Southside. Now, I will say, I'm going to do an episode now that's a little bit different. I did warn you at the outset of this whole thing. If you missed it, go back and listen to the intro episode where I said, I'm going to bring you all the stories and all the tales and all the businesses and organizations on the South Side. However, I also reserve the right to just jump on and share things I'm thinking about, things I'm excited about that may have nothing to do with the South Side. And this is kind of one of those. I'm going to be sharing with you in this episode what my top takeaways were from VeeCon, which is a conference I went to. It was at Lucas Oil Stadium. Now, what is VeeCon? It's business and marketing conference that is put on by Gary Vaynerchuk. Maybe you know him as Gary V on social media. He makes a lot of videos and is a kind of an inspirational, motivational dude, but he's a businessman first and a speaker and entrepreneur and all that stuff. So he was here. I've been following Gary's work for a few years, and I saw him speak back in 2016 in San Francisco and really enjoyed that and have kind of followed what he's up to ever since. So I went to the conference when it was here in town. It was right here, so obviously pretty easy. And let me tell you, this conference was so fantastic that I'm still reviewing my notes a few times a week just to kind of stay in that energized state that I was at the end of the conference too. So if you ever get a chance to go to VeeCon, he moves it around in different cities, but I highly suggest it. And I thought it would be really fun today to share my top takeaways. And I know I said it's business and marketing, but I think the takeaways are going to apply to whatever walk of life you're in. So this is not going to be a business or marketing episode or anything like that. I just want to share with you kind of my top 3 takeaways. These are not going to be groundbreaking things necessarily that you've never heard before. However, maybe it's going to be a reminder for you in your life and whatever you're trying to pursue here on the South Side. And I like doing this too because I feel like if we can encourage each other, even through this tiny little podcast, then we can create things that didn't exist before on the South Side. We can make good things happen right here where we live locally, which is especially exciting. So I've got 3 takeaways that I want to share with you, and then I've got a little bonus. That's just kind of a little nugget, little food for thought, something to think about, and then we'll wrap it up, okay? So VeeCon, it was in May, so whenever you're listening to this, it was in May 2023, but these will be global takeaways that I think you can prioritize. So let's get into it. Takeaway number 1, go after what you want in life. Go after it. It's as simple as that, right? I don't know what you believe, but all we know is right now you've got one go round on Earth, as far as we know, right? You get one shot at this. So if that's true, if you've got your hopefully 80, 90, 100 years to live, you might as well go for what you want. It was Neil Patrick Harris was one of the speakers there. He said he figures I've got limited time on Earth, so I might as well spend it doing the things I love to do. So let me just give you permission. I think a lot of times we need permission to go after whatever it is you dream of doing. And one of the things they talked about was being all in and acting with urgency. So all in says, I'm really going to go for it. I'm really going to be all in chasing what I want in this life. And then acting with urgency is, what can you do right now to start to execute on your dreams? What can you literally do right now, mid-podcast, stop this podcast and go do something? Maybe it's make a call, maybe it's do research, maybe it's do one little thing. For whatever your dream is, can you actually get into motion on that right away and act with that urgency? Nobody's guaranteed tomorrow, right? We're not guaranteed next week or 5 years from now or when the kids are off to school or when I retire. None of that is actually guaranteed for any of us, which means we've got to go all in and act with urgency here, now, today. One of the speakers, Jesse Eisler, I don't know if you've heard of him before. This was my first experience with him, but he said, you can do what you want to do, but will you? You can, but will you? So if you want to run a marathon, if you want to climb a mountain, if you want to write a song, if you want to start a nonprofit, you can do that. You can do that. But the question is, will you do it? So that hit me really powerfully and got me excited. It's part of the reason why I got going on this podcast too, is because I've been thinking about this for a long time. I've been wanting to do it for a long time. And now this is just one of the things that I'm chasing after. I'm going to share other things throughout the course of this podcast, from very practical and smart and good all the way to insane ideas that I have that I just want to do in life. So I'm going to share that stuff with you because why not? So something else we heard kind of around this going after what you want in life is to write your dreams down every day. Every day, write down your dreams just to keep it in front of yourself, and then even look at that 5 or 6 times per day. That was Eric Thomas, who's another kind of motivational speaker. He said, write your dreams down every day, look at them 5 or 6 times per day. You've got to be obsessed with the life of your dreams that you're trying to create for yourself. So rather than being obsessed with celebrity culture or the latest news or whatever, get obsessed with your own life and the life you're trying to build for yourself in the world. And then the last piece under this is you've got to bring massive energy to your dream. You've got to bring massive energy and action to your dream. So that got me all fired up. Obviously, you might already be hearing that I get excited about these kind of like motivational things. So I apologize if it's not your cup of tea. But hey, skip to the next episode. It's totally fine. But that was the first one. Go after what you want in life. And that's what we all hopefully are starting to do or continuing to do in the lives that we have. So, okay, that's number 1. Number 2, focus on your wellness. Focus on your wellness. And what does that mean? That means your physical health, your mental, emotional, spiritual health. They said that prioritizing your health in every form of the word health, prioritizing that is required for your success. So if you want to be in the life of your dreams or create that, it's going to be a journey. It's going to be a struggle. And so you've got to bring your best self to it, which means you've got to get enough sleep. You've got to have a reasonable diet. You've got to exercise. You've got to take care of the mind with meditation or prayer or silence or whatever you need. Therapy, taking walks, whatever it is for you that gets you right. Mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. You've got to prioritize that because it's going to take your best self to achieve what you want to achieve and to get to where you want to get. So think about your own personal energy and about managing that on a daily basis so that you've got the spring in your step, you've got the mental clarity, you've got the emotional wellness, and that you are bringing your whole person to the life that you're trying to live for yourself. So I thought that was really good. I needed that reset personally to focus on my wellness and kind of prioritize that. I think that's the key part, right? Is we all know it's important, but are we prioritizing it? Are we giving ourselves the gift of taking care of ourselves, right? I know self-care is all the rage and all that stuff. It's kind of a buzzword that we kind of get sick of, but making it a priority in your life to make sure that you're good on the inside and on the outside, now you can go execute on the things you want to do and do it in a healthy way. So I thought that was really good. Number 2, focus on your wellness. Okay, the third takeaway is stop caring what other people think. Stop caring what other people think. Some of you guys are really good at this. You've just been blessed with the gene of, I'm confident in myself, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I don't care what people think about it. And if that's you, hoots to you. I'm proud of you. That's fantastic. But I think a lot of us, and myself included, we get focused on other people's judgment. And the problem with that is that it keeps us from doing the thing. Whatever the thing is we want to do, we get so worried about other people's judgment, so we don't take action on it. Because if we do take action on it and we stumble or we fall or we fail or we look silly or we aren't fitting into the norms of our culture, then people judge us and we don't like that. So we don't do anything, right? We just kind of go with the flow and we get in momentum and we just kind of let the inertia of life carry us to the typical suburban existence that a lot of us have, right? So stop caring what other people think. Take the risk. Do the thing that you're afraid to do and let yourself have permission to go for what you want. If it's other people's judgment you're worried about, one of the things that Gary Vee actually said, he said, figure out whose judgment you're afraid of, and then start to realize that it's all untrue. It's all BS. It's all garbage, right? You're afraid of the judgment of a parent or a child or a friend or whoever it is, a spouse, it could be. Realize that has no bearing on how you live your life. It really doesn't. You've got to surround yourself with positivity and all that too. But if you figure out who it is you're afraid to fail in front of, you can realize that that's probably not as big and scary as you're making it out in your mind. So I love that. So those are the big 3 takeaways that I had. I've got pages of notes. I wrote down like 35 different things that are like highlighted takeaways for me. And I've only got through 3, but a lot of them kind of went together. Anyway, those are the 3. It's go after the life you want. It's focus on your wellness, and it's stop caring about what other people think. Man, if we could do that, imagine if you really did that. You went after the life of your dreams. You did it in a healthy way because you're focused on your wellness, and you just didn't care what people think about the choices you're making for yourself. Imagine how empowering that would be, right? So that's really cool. And then the last little nugget, and this is just kind of food for thought. I told you I'd do a little bonus. This is the bonus, right? One of the interesting things that was said that I still need to think through a lot is learn how to use AI. So artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, things like that. Learn how to use it because it's like having the skill of coding 25 years ago. So you know how important computer coding and coders and all that have been in our lives for the last couple of decades. What they were saying at this conference is that learning to use AI and getting good with ChatGPT and understanding some of these technologies is going to be a skill. It's going to be a skill that will serve you well in the coming decades. So I thought that was interesting and an interesting takeaway. So listen, I would love to know what you think. That's today's episode. Hit me up. Shoot me an email. You can obviously DM me on social media as well. You can reach out, whatever platform suits you best, but you can always email me, terry@ferrispropertygroup.com. I would love to hear from you if any of these takeaways resonated, if anything made sense, or if you actually said, you know what? Terry's right, or Gary's right, or whoever's right, and there's just something you're going after now. It could be because of this podcast. I doubt that's going to be the case. But if you're just excited about something and you're getting started on something, or if you want to share with me what your dreams are, man, I want to hear all of it. It makes me so excited. And let's support each other on the journey of creating amazing things that we'll put out into the world. And a lot of that, if we all are doing interesting things, it's going to impact our wonderful South Side in fantastic ways. So that gets me excited. I thank you for the permission of listening to this podcast. Again, it's just me ranting on some thoughts and things I'm excited about. I'm going to do this from time to time, not a ton, but I do want to do it sometimes. And it could be this kind of motivational stuff. It could be that I'm frustrated with the Tigers starting rotation. I don't know. It could be anything, right? But I'm going to share it. And if you don't like stuff like this, feel free to skip. That's totally fine. I will not be offended. You can cherry pick the episodes you want to. Only my mom will listen to every episode. And that's if I show her how to work, the podcast platforms. But anyway, love you, Mom. That's all for today. Email Terry@ferrispropertygroup.com. I'm Terry. This has been the Around the Southside podcast. We will see you next time.